Okay.
Hey,
Welcome,
everybody.
everybody. We are live.
Awesome.
Another Thursday Carnivore Mastermind. And look, we have all ladies in the house tonight. Look at this, 5 of us. This is kind of a new phenomenon. Pretty cool. So, I mean, we love you gentlemen as well that come on here, but this is kind of a something a little different tonight. So I'm excited to be here. I miss you guys on the Thursdays that we're not streaming, even though I get caught up on some other stuff. I'm like, dang, I'm not hanging out with all my buddies tonight. So glad to be here. However, I was slacking this week and I didn't throw a poll out there to everybody. So I've been polling for the DFW meetup and a few other things. So I started my new podcast channel, so you'll have to forgive me because I lost track of time on that one, even though I had 2 weeks to put this up. But anyway, we're talking tonight about biggest carnivore mistakes. And I kind of thought of this topic right after I filmed my 1-year update because I just recently had my 1-year carniversary. And I didn't get to that in that video, even though it was like 45 minutes long. I didn't even really get to outlining some of the things that I wish I would have done differently in the beginning. And so I thought, let's make that the topic for this week. And we'll go around and let everybody share, like if you could start over and do it again, would you change anything? Would you do anything differently? Any mistakes you feel like you made that we could talk about that would help? So since we don't have a poll this week, I'm counting on all of you in the chat tonight to share your thoughts and opinions. Like maybe tell us how long you've been on this diet, how your transition was, if you feel like you would have a good answer to this question, any tips that you would have for people starting out. So I'm going to go last as usual. And so we'll go around clockwise. We'll start with Robin and go around the circle. And then if you guys have comments, questions, we will bring those up afterwards. So welcome everybody. And we'll start with Robin.
Hey, everybody. It's Robin Heron, your carnivorous grandma here. I'm so glad to be back. It's been like a couple of months since I was able to be here with the Carnivore Masterminds. So I'm really excited to be here tonight. And this is a great topic. If I think about what would I have done differently, I was pretty thorough in my research actually about doing the carnivore diet. I was watching Dr. Berry. He has a video for almost every single topic. So I did a lot of research, but one thing that I could probably suggest is there's 2 things. One is don't try to do everything at once. So when you're just getting started, just eat the meat. Like, don't think about all the tweaks and you need to count your macros and you need to think about, all the different things that you start to think about later on as you go along, but just keep it simple. Like eat meat, eat until you're full, eat when you're hungry, don't eat when you're not hungry. And don't try to do all the things. So I'm a person who loves a challenge. So kind of early on, I started to do these different challenges that I saw coming up on my my YouTube feed. And it caused me to struggle somewhat and deal with some mental challenges that I probably didn't even need to deal with at that point. So I just think just keep it simple. And focus on just doing the switch from whatever diet you're on today till tomorrow. You're only eating meat. That's a big enough change, I think, to start out with. So my thing is keep it simple. And then thinking that the second thing is like your expectations sometimes can be too high of what you expect, so set realistic expectations for yourself. I have been on carnivore for about 17 months now, and I didn't lose all my weight. So I thought, automatically I'm just going to lose all this weight. I'll be down to my goal weight real soon, like I see other people. So don't compare yourself to others too. You see other people and they're like losing weight like this. And, um, my expectations maybe were a little bit different than what the outcome actually was. But the benefits far outweighed those disappointment kind of things that I had. So, be realistic. It's a way of eating. It's a miracle way of eating, to be honest. It does so many great things,
Mhm.
but still there is a little bit of realism there that I did not realize when I was first starting out. And so now that I've been doing it for 17 months, I'm like, okay, so this is what really happened. And it wasn't exactly what I expected to happen. Some things were way better. And then that weight loss thing came and said, hey, what happened? What do I have to tweak to make my weight loss happen? And so you need to really, really be realistic with
Mhm.
yourself and kind of, I had to face facts like, a lot of people can eat whatever they want, whenever they want. And I found that that is not the case for me because I did so much damage to my metabolism with doing many, many diets over the years. And I can eat a lot of food. Like I don't know that I can even tell when I'm really full, like to the basic level of full. I want to be all the way stuffed. And so I was overeating, and we hear a lot of times in the carnivore space that you just eat whatever you want. Well, I'm not a person that can eat whatever I want. So I had to be really realistic with myself about that.
Mhm.
So those are just, some suggestions that I have as far as what I've encountered and some of the mistakes that I made when I was getting started. Thanks.
What a great start, Robin. Thank you so much. And I think some of the stuff I say is going to echo a little bit what you were saying. So I apologize if it's a little bit of a repeat, but I'll start by saying I'm the opposite of Robin. So, in some ways, so she did a bunch of research before going carnivore, and I am the accidental carnivore. So I did no research. I was just too lazy to cook those veggies. And they just kind of gradually slid off my plate as I was like, I think I'm just going to have the ribeye and leave. Like, I don't want to cook the broccoli or the whatever, because I was keto, right? And so I didn't know what I was in for. I didn't know at the beginning, what these people, other people, were experiencing as far as their benefits and things like that. But quickly after starting, I thought, well, I better look into some of this. And then, like Robin, yeah, I checked out Dr. Barry and his carnivore content, and then started branching out to other doctors and other carnivores like these other ladies on the screen here. And I would say that, similar to what Robin was saying, it's not just like a straight line for everybody. So all your benefits are not just going to happen where everything, you have these things that you would like to have improve, and then everything just improves and everything is great. So the first thing that happened to me that was great was my anxiety that I didn't even know I had, like, went away. And so I'm just so much more mentally healthy now than I was. And I'm so glad that happened, because one thing that happened right away on carnivore is I gained 15 pounds. So that was fun. I had originally gone keto to lose 20 pounds, which I did. And then I went carnivore and gained 15. And I'm still trying to figure that out. So I'm confident that, of a couple things. One is I also did a bunch of binging and restricting like my whole life. So I'm sure that my metabolism was ruined. I think I have some thyroid issues I need to work on. But I feel so great. I have more energy than I ever had. I'm exercising, I'm walking, I'm doing all this stuff that I never would have done before. And so the benefits that I've gotten have far outweighed the 15 pounds, which, okay, it's 15 pounds. Like, if it's going to come off, it will. I'm trying not to stress about it. I'm doing things as right as I can, or as I know how to do. It worried me at first because nobody wants to gain 15 pounds unless they need to. Some people need to, but like, I didn't need to. But now I'm just kind of like at peace. Like, the weight stopped going on. Like, it has stopped. So, in terms of my thyroid, I did find a low carb doctor, and that low carb doctor agreed to see me, you guys. I got a phone call 2 days ago, And my insurance agreed to switch me over. Normally it wouldn't have gone through till September 1st, but they agreed to push it through for August 1st. So I am hoping, because my current doctor didn't want to talk about my thyroid because my cholesterol was high. So that leads me to my next point, is just realize that you are going to be an N=1. Similar to what Robin was saying, don't compare yourself to everyone else. You're going to hear stories about eating sticks of butter. You're going to hear stories about, I try to do protein sparing modified fast. You're going to hear all these experiences, and they're all valid for some people, but they're not all valid for you. And that's one thing that I've had to learn, that balance of what my body needs. And I'm going to be hopefully working with this doctor now, because hopefully she will want to talk to me about my thyroid to find out more about what's going on there, and not just focus on that LDL number. So my N=1 is I'm a lean mass hyperresponder. So my LDL just skyrocketed way up there. And then I felt like I wasn't getting the help I needed with some of my other main issue, which I think I've probably been low thyroid since my 20s and just kind of ignored it and was just tired every day. And, carnivore gave me some of that energy back and gave me the drive to like seek out a new doctor and, do all this stuff. So some days I still feel that extreme fatigue. It's very different from just being tired. It's like a bone weary. Cami will know, because Cami has this too. It's like a bone weary, like you can't move, like you can't, it's just it's more than just even exhaustion. It's really tough. That happens to me a lot less, and I have energy to teach, during the day and do YouTube when I get home. So it has helped with some of it, but we're going to be looking into that. The other thing with N=1 is I, like Robin, am a volume eater. So I think that comes from, again, the binging and restricting and just messing up my hunger signals so bad. And so, I mean, I can eat and eat and eat, and a lot of times you're going to hear you just need to eat more. Like you hear that advice a lot in the carnivore space, and I don't think I'm one of those that needs to eat more. Maybe that's what helped me, because when I went carnivore, I kind of stopped tracking, because that's what I heard. Like on carnivore, you don't have to track. Well, maybe I do have to track, and I kind of go in and out of that. But I think and I'm still working on it, because I haven't figured it out for myself, but it's maybe it'll be easy for you, but maybe it won't. But don't let that scare you away, because you're probably going to get some amazing benefits, even if there's some things you kind of have to play with. So just be prepared for that. And thanks for listening. Oh yeah, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's great. I love that. I don't want to repeat everything that she just said, so I will try to think of some new stuff. No, this is just kind of really basic, and I wish I had done it from the beginning. Like day one, don't just step on the scale. Like take all of your measurements and log everything, good, bad, and indifferent. So I started doing that, but it's fallen out. But like so many things changed immediately for me. And I watched a video recently, and someone didn't like the fact that so many things changed immediately. She didn't say it on my video, but I'm just commenting. For me, I was lucky. A lot of things changed immediately. I felt like a normal human being in like 3 days, like a happy, normal person in 3 days. So from also, like you mentioned, Christy, like the anxiety you didn't even realize you had, but you're just like worried all the time. And then all of a sudden your mind is like, oh, wow, I have more energy to think about more productive things in my life. Like literally, okay, can I just back up and then I'll get on to my next point here. My daughter was in a window on the 4th floor when I was on the toilet when she was 2 years old. There were bars on the window, but she could have like gotten herself through. I had nightmares and anxiety about this for months. I'm literally on the toilet pooping, and my son comes running into the bathroom like, ah! And so, because he didn't know how to communicate what was going on. So I ran and grabbed her out of the window. She slapped me in the face, and then we talked, however you can talk to a 2-year-old, but no joke, years of anxiety and like nightmares about her falling out of a window and how terrible of a mom I am that could have happened even if it didn't happen. And so things like that were constantly like in my mind and bothering me, gone in 3 days. Didn't expect that. So I think when you start the carnivore diet, yeah, you want to lose weight, but just like enjoy the process. Like start with the idea to like enjoy the process, and don't put all of your attention on the expectations that you're going to lose 600 pounds. Like I was like, oh wow, look at all these people. I'm gonna lose the 90 pounds. I'm gonna look like I did when I was 18. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? No, don't have those expectations, but be there for the process. Because man, not being obsessed about losing weight and crying about it and just feeling good and understanding that that was actually something that was happening in my mind because I was poisoning myself full time with the garbage that I was eating. And that just to have that calm down and be happy with like the 20 plus pounds I've lost and I feel better and my clothes feel better. So yeah, if you're starting, enjoy the process. Start with the idea to enjoy the process and note your changes because you're going to forget them, but they are going to be many, many, and it's going to blow your mind. And then, like give yourself, be patient and test. That's the last thing. Test everything. Like everybody's saying, like, you don't know what's going to work for you. What works for somebody else might not work for you. We're not men, by the way. We have female bodies. We've probably all had babies. This is a different scenario than men who can't have babies and they can just like stop eating and like lose 100 pounds. And that's not really fair. So we have different bodies and we just need to be comfortable. And I think I did do this at the beginning, but I would say find your friends, find your community. It's going to help a lot. There you go. That's all I want to say. Don't want to repeat everything, but yeah.
Alia, you're funny.
Oh, thank you.
So yes, amen to everything that's already been said. But I started in March and then my birthday was in November and I decided to give myself a treat. And I think that was a mistake. So I had a piece of chocolate and it didn't seem like a big deal at the time. But then Thanksgiving was like the next week and I had broken my streak, right? I had already had a piece of chocolate. So then somebody made a super healthy sugar-free pie. And I'm like, well, I can eat that because I already broke my streak. What's the big deal? And it gets harder and harder to draw the line when you walk over the line. So I wish I hadn't even had that in my head to give myself a treat. And so if you're the kind of person that is fine for, great. But, some people say they eat a piece of cake on their child's birthday. I'm going to have to be like, I'm sorry, kid, you are eating alone. I'm not going to eat that with you. It just doesn't work for me to do it that way. So I wish I hadn't done that. And then the other thing is all perspective. It's all point of view. I think that we start out not giving food enough credit in our lives. And then I think we end up giving food too much credit in our lives. So we start out like not realizing how much damage we're doing by the food that we eat, that we make that change and we're like, holy cow. And then we give food too much credit and we don't keep going to try and fix all the other areas of our lives. And somebody had a question, Nia, about sun that I think you starred. Yeah, the sun, some people get like massive amounts of healing just by changing their interactions with the sun. Nia's pointing at herself. Yeah, I mean, we can't give food so much credit that we forget about other things. Do you have financial peace in your life? Do you have good relationships in your life? Are you going on walks and, just other things that help you have peace in your life? Are you doing all of those things as well? But the sun, especially, getting out there and getting morning sun. I don't know why it works, but when I was in my RV for five weeks with my daughter on a trip, she would be sleeping in and I would go outside and watch the sunrise. And I slept better on that hard RV mattress than I ever have. And I'm not doing it now because I got all kinds of excuses if you want to hear them all. Like the sun is behind my house. I don't have a good porch. Like, all the reasons. I like to take a shower first thing in the morning, whatever your excuse is, life gets in the way, but we need to remember all those other things. And then probably the last thing, I am a person that when I adopt something, I want to share it with everyone and I expect everyone to join me. I started making sourdough bread and like doing all these things. And I'm like, come on, friends. And I started having classes and I was teaching everybody. That is not happening with carnivore. It is not happening. So a year ago, I
Yep.
started carnivore, and then like the next week I took some food over to my friend and I'm like, you need this. And so I'm like, okay, go. And I thought for sure she was going to have an identical experience to me, which is, oh, everything is different. I'm never going back.
Yeah.
She tried it and then stopped. And I was mind blown. I couldn't even like comprehend what was going on. And so she just, like a week ago, told me that she was going to start on Monday. So I need to follow up with her because it's Thursday now and see how it's going. So it's taken time, and I don't know what she's been doing for the past year, but she's trying it again. So I don't know. You just don't ever give up hope on our friends, and we just keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully they see how much better off we are, whether it's weight or just mental or what the different things are. But yeah, that's that's what I can think of right now.
That's awesome. Y'all threw out a lot of great things, and I would second all of it too. And I put myself last because it's the hardest one to go after everybody's taken all the good answers. But so there are a lot of things that I would echo. But just to kind of touch on, this question, which Aid, I'm assuming you have an answer to this. You probably know the answer to this, but throwing it up here for conversation, it's great. And I, just to kind of piggyback off of this and what you just said too, Cami, that's one of the biggest takeaways that I kind of focused on in my 1 year update too, where it's like, nutrition helps a lot and it pretty much solves my digestive problems for the most part. But I really realized like how much stress was impacting me and how much lack of sun was impacting me and my skin in particular. And so I've had to really look at sleep, sun, and stress were my other three things that I really tried to manage and tweak and work into a better system for my lifestyle throughout this past year. And so that's not, I'm glad that I did that and I thought about it from early on. And so I think that was definitely a thing that I wouldn't go back and change. I'm kind of surprised how many of you mentioned like the different amounts of eating, like the different amounts of food that you feel like you could tolerate. Cause I feel like that is such the general guideline, right? Is to just eat until you're full. And I remember saying, I don't know if it was my 60 or 90-day update where I was like, I don't know what that feels like. And I don't know if it's because I had a messed up gut for so long or if it was still like sugar related cravings or what it was. But I would always feel like, kind of like, I think you said, Robin, like I would just continue to eat until I was almost like sick, just like so incredibly full that I couldn't move. And then I'd be so tired. And then I'm like, why can't I digest this? And I had this whole priming thing in my mind. Like I needed to just eat like it's my job and saturate my body, and I'm not against priming. And I think maybe that does work. It probably does work for a lot of people, but it didn't work. It didn't work for me. And so if I could change anything, I would go back and be much more intuitive, and not be afraid to just fast a little bit, like not eat 3 heavy meals every day and try to force that in, I think, and force the high fat too fast. I think I also did that and that messed up my digestion for a while. And so, I would have gone more intuitive on the portions and the timing for what I could eat. I also would have got labs done, like a full set of blood work in the beginning, because I have not had labs done in years. I've saved the last printout I got, but this is probably a decade ago. It's somewhere in my file box, but because I'm about to order my first set of labs, probably next month. And so I'm like, dang, I really wish I had something to compare it to, because now this is going to be my baseline. If I would have, maybe I would have been diagnosed with, I would have had like hypothyroidism or something. Like I could have put a name on the fatigue and the things that I was experiencing. And then that actually could potentially have helped me reach more people, because I could have said, I had this and it's improved, and now it's kind of like, well, I just feel better, So, I mean, our stories are still important, but it's like, so that's the number one thing I would change. I wouldn't have like the priming mindset, and I would have gotten a full panel drawn. So I had a baseline going in.
I loved what
The other-
I think
Go ahead.
Alia may have said that about doing the measurements. Like, I purposely did not weigh myself. I don't know why I did that. I must have been mentally ill. But I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that I did not weigh myself on day one just to see and take all the measurements and do all the things. So I love that advice. And I think it's really, really good advice. Like, when you're getting started, just do all the measurements, because, you're gonna, even if you're not losing that weight in pounds on the scale, a bunch of stuff is going to be coming off your body. So I love that advice, and I did not do that. And so that is one of the things that I would also recommend.
Awesome. By the way, Grandma, you look amazingly young and beautiful. I can't believe we have to call you Grandma.
You.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, so Aid says early morning sunshine sets the circadian rhythm and creates superior metabolic health pathways. That's the basic answer. Right. And I always think about with the relationship between the diet and sun specifically is the cholesterol, right? And so we're actually taking in enough cholesterol so that we can start that process of synthesizing the vitamin D once it hits your skin. So, right. And then the circadian rhythm thing is on top of that. So that, because with the cortisol, and if we're sleeping bad, again, like that affects how we can lose weight and how we feel and all this kind of stuff. So really all these lifestyle components are connected, because our bodies are, we're not just one operating, separate organs doing separate things. Everything is feeding off of each other constantly, and reading the scenario that's going on. So
I did have, when I did my blood work, it was 9 months ago, and vitamin D was like 1 point even lower than the range, which we all know we should probably be on the higher end of that range. But I've been walking. I'm just wondering if it's going to go up, because I wouldn't say I'm getting like a ton of sun, but I'm definitely getting more sun than I was. So that's one of the things I'm kind of curious to see. I don't have baseline blood work, but I did get that blood work maybe 6 months in, and now it's been 9 months since that blood work. And so, that's something I'm excited to see if I've improved that, or if I need to, even get more sun exposure.
Yeah, I love that. So Lisa says, my tip is that a slow cooker is a great appliance to have on hand when starting carnivore. It makes life much easier. I would agree. I think I've collected several small appliances over the past year that have been very instrumental. My favorite is my air fryer. But I'm a slow cooker girl at heart. I always have one kind of going with something. So a lot of brisket lately, since I've been getting those so cheap. It's like, throw the, chunk of brisket in there, and that's it, basically.
I need to move to Texas. I can't even get picanha.
Robin, did you see my cow video? I got my half cow and all the beef, and there was like, what was it, $5.84 a pound, and there was a picanha in there, and there was a brisket in there. So I'm very excited. And I ate some of the sirloin today from that cow, and it was delicious, y'all.
Oh,
it was
man,
great.
that sounds amazing. I need to order another half cow myself. So
yeah.
Good deal. It's a good deal.
Anyone have thoughts on this question?
Oh yeah,
here?
can I chime in on this? Because actually my eczema got so much better on a carnivore diet. I have had terrible eczema all of my life since I was a baby. And so on my face, like, I had dark rings around, like I was a raccoon, and then a ring around my mouth. So you could always tell that I had eczema, because it was really, really bad on my face. But from a facial perspective, everybody has said, like, your face looks really clear. I went to see my dad for the first time after about 8 or 9 months. And he was like, wow, your face looks really clear, because it's never been this clear before. my entire life. And so I would say that my bodily eczema has really improved. I would say it's like 98% improved. My hand eczema I'm still dealing with. So it must be a different mechanism that's causing that. But I think it's dairy, sadly. I hate to even say that out loud, but yeah, so a carnivore diet literally took care of my eczema problem that I had on everywhere but my hands. So that's pretty good.
That's awesome.
So
I,
for me,
I'll be
it
after.
was okay. Sorry, Alia.
No,
For
no,
me,
I'll
it
be
was
after you.
Okay, cool. For me, it was cystic acne. So I had really bad cystic acne that would pop up right here. And then once it would pop up because it was cystic, it would be there for 3 or 4 months. And then when it would finally go away, it would leave this dark spot that would last even longer than that. And I'm not going to say that I've never gotten them, but I've been proper human diet since February of 2023. And I think I've maybe gotten two breakouts that whole time. And I used to get them probably every other month, on one side or the other, sometimes more than one at a time. So, and they hurt really bad and they're deep under the skin and it's no fun. So I would say that the carnivore diet has improved my complexion in that way. And it's been amazing not to have to deal with that, both from just from a perspective of, look how I look to other people, but then also, like I said, they're painful and you just don't feel good when you have them. Okay. Alia, go ahead, sweetie.
Sorry. So I hear what you say, Grandma, about the Grandma Robin. I'm gonna call you Grandma. I'm sorry.
I love it. That's what my grandkids call me, Grandma Robin.
Okay. I had also on my hand, you can't see it, but it's not perfect. I think I agree with the 95%. But if I go home and I go eat like McDonald's, I'm not perfect, people. If I go home and I just go eat out with my family, my hand will be red. But I remember 2 years ago, around 2 years ago, I was visiting my uncle. He's like, we have to see a doctor. Your hand can't keep going like that. It was basically bloody and blistering on this specific hand. And then he helped me and we got some not testosterone cream, some steroid cream, and it would put it into remission, but never handled it. Yep. If I eat carbohydrates, I will start getting red patches again, instantly. So it's not 100%, but I'm not in pain. My hand's not bleeding. It's not blistering. It's not all red and gross. But the pain is worse than the red and gross. By the way, the pain is terrible. And another weird thing that I always say this is weird because I'm just kind of odd. I should have gone to a doctor. I had 2 C-sections within 21 months of each other, more or less. And the second, I can't tell if the first C-section healed, but the second one didn't heal properly. And then 3 months into carnivore, it would itch. I would try to vigorously clean down there to because it would smell a little funny. I know it's a little gross. I'm going to get grosser in a second. So 3 months into carnivore, my husband's like, wow, the scar, the skin looks totally normal. It's totally healed. I can't see it. I've got I still got the baby belly down there, the baby fat belly. But that's amazing to me that healed up. A little bit of pus would come out and not it wasn't leaking full time, but I'm just trying to explain what it was that it had stayed that way for so long. And I didn't bother to go to a doctor. I'm like, you dear, let's not go to the doctor for 10 years and do our blood work. No. Okay. Are we ready to, how gross can I get? Okay. So similar to cystic acne, I don't know, but downtown since I was 11 years old, not totally cleared up, but again, my husband's like, oh, wow, it looks a lot better. That similar situation. So that's why I say at the beginning, just enjoy the process. You don't know actually all the things wrong with your body and when it's actually going to heal. So, but that hurts. Cystic acne hurts. That hurts. It's painful. I love that I've always had beautiful facial skin, but pimples anywhere that hurt sucks.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Sorry. I told you I was going to get grosser in a second. There you go, Kimmy.
Well, that's good to know because you never know who's suffering from something and
That's
nobody
right.
brings it up. And so they're like, oh, I'm embarrassed. Maybe I'm embarrassed to even ask that question.
Mm-hmm.
So now they don't have to. Thanks to you.
Yeah, they don't have to because I've just embarrassed myself.
Yeah. That's what we're all about as YouTubers. Let's embarrass
That's it.
ourselves online. Talk about poop. Talk about all the gross stuff.
All the
all the
things.
gross stuff.
Yeah.
Cammie, do you have a skin comment? Not really?
Not really.
Okay.
Just that when I stopped using shampoo and conditioner, the acne on my back went away.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
and that was before carnivore, but I mean, yeah,
from
the things we put on our face can also not help.
Mhm.
I guess the thing
Yeah,
that I think about in terms of this is how the carnivore diet helps like head to toe. You know what I mean? It's totally holistically helping your body. And even I notice about carnivores that a lot of carnivores are really interested in the other things that will help, such as the sunshine, such as getting out and walking, such as grounding, being more holistic in your approach to your way of life. So, we talk about having issues, I think about keto crotch because that was a thing that everybody was talking about for a while.
What's
And that's
keto
a real thing, that when you are oxalate dumping, it comes out in all different kinds of ways. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it's kind of like an itchy rash, and the oxalate can come out anywhere it wants to on your body. So, but the carnivore diet really helps with from a head to toe type of a thing. Sorry, Nia, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Mine, like again with the sun and stuff, I took a lot of pictures of my one big psoriasis spot that I had. And by big, I mean, it was about the size of a 50-cent piece at its biggest, which is one of the biggest spots I've ever had personally. And mine usually never lasted very long. They'd only last like maybe 2 to 3 months at the longest, and then they'd go away. But I had this spot on my knee. I keep like guessing. I'll have to go back and find a picture somewhere, but I remember it at least like probably 10 months before I started carnivore again. And so it's been there a while, and it got worse over the winter. And it got worse when I did the lion diet. And I cut, the cleaner I got, it's almost like it got worse. And so I thought it was oxalate stuff for a while. I thought it might have been, parasites. I thought it, I wasn't really sure. And it was actually really frustrating. But here, right about beginning of April or so, it gets warm, it's 80 degrees and we can go out to the pool. And I started getting sun again. And that's the only thing that seems to like nip it in the bud for me. So, but then the fact that I'm doing this diet and I'm not eating seed oils and I'm not eating tons of sugar and I'm not, that's keeping me healthy from the inside so that I can tolerate and actually use all that sunlight. So I think again, they work in conjunction, but diet alone didn't, cure my skin. And I still get some inflammation every now and then, even just like from stress or being out in like, I don't know, somewhere where there's a lot of smoke or something, like just certain things will trigger it. I notice I'll get itchy or I'll get like flushed in the face kind of a thing. And I've been like that since I was very, very, very young. And so exercise I would always be like the super beet red person. I could never sweat, which I notice I actually sweat here more than I ever have in my life. And I actually think that's a good sign because I used to never sweat. I would just overheat like so easily. And now I feel like I actually sweat. And so maybe that's a sign of something. I don't know for sure, but yeah, definitely had to stack some things on top of each other to get my skin doing better. And I still have a little ways to go. Like this spot, it wants to come back. Like the other day, it started itching again and I don't know why. Like I've cut decaf out again because I thought maybe that's what was like the last 5% of things. But for some reason, the other day it was itchy still. So I'm like, I don't know what I did. I didn't change anything else except for removing things again. So I don't know. But yeah, that's my skin story.
I hate when that happens. It's so funny. I have this issue with my hands I was just talking about. And I've been doing a daily video during the month of July. and started talking about how my hands started itching. And one of my viewers was like, every time you do this, you get itchy hands. And I'm like, oh, wow. That was cool, because they're paying attention. And so now I'm like being more observant of that. Like, when I do this, does it actually cause me a problem? So it was very interesting.
Mute.
Sorry, I'm talking to my little one in the background too.
Oh, okay.
We're having a side conversation while you guys are chatting. So if I lose my train of thought, that's why.
I like the question that Cammie had. What is your like fad carnivore? What fad have you tried on the carnivore diet?
Lion diet.
I tried unsuccessfully the sardine challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was my answer. I made it through one can. I was like, nope. Nope.
I did 4.5 days, and I hate fish. Like, I hate fish, but I did 4.5 days. But I didn't feel like so amazingly better that I would keep needing to keep doing it. I don't know.
I felt
like these things don't benefit me the same way other people say they do. So I don't know.
Right. No, I felt terrible, and my butt started bleeding. And there's many theories about that.
Oh my God.
I have a new question. Is there anything Alia won't say?
No, there isn't. Alia will say it all, and I love that about her.
Maybe this is what happens when we have an all-girls night over here. We just start getting into the nitty-gritties over here.
We did. I interviewed a girl last week, and I still have to edit her. Her name's Cassie Novian, beautiful girl in Texas. We got into it. It was the most female-centric body problem conversation I've ever had. It was very female.
So Alia, when you did those sardines, how many days did you do?
I started Monday morning, and then by Wednesday, that problem popped up. I was like wiping, and I'm like, this is not a good sign. But I also felt very weak and very sick. Two things I think either like sick, like weak sick, like not sick flu, but I don't know if the sardines were bad, like if the expiration date was wrong. And I don't know if it was really canola oil, and it wasn't, because it said olive oil. I couldn't find any in water. So I don't know what it was, or maybe it wasn't sardines. Maybe it was something else that said it was sardines. I don't know, but I ate eggs, and it was like, wow, I feel great now. In minutes, I felt revitalized from eating eggs. So sardines aren't for me. I do have some cans in the kitchen and water, and they're sitting in the kitchen.
You can send them to me. I'll eat them.
I've done Lion. I've done 5-day fast. I've eaten a stick of butter. But mostly for me, I just keep coming back to, I want to eat some hamburger patties. And if I can eat like a pound of hamburger every day, I can snack and eat different things. And I just keep going back to that. That's what I feel the best. I like that the most.
Yeah. I understand.
I kept trying to do that stick of butter a day, but I could not get a whole stick of butter in a day. That was just like too much butter for me. I couldn't do it. And maybe if I had a keto chow shake, I could put a stick of butter in it, but since that's keto, not carnivore.
I can do a stick of butter. I just don't want to spend all the money. Or else that's like a lot of money on butter. I'd rather
every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done bite butter, but never a stick. Maybe 3 tablespoons at the most at any one time. I haven't tried the stick. I don't know if I could get through it, because after 3 tablespoons, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Oh, wow.
But when my body needs fat, that butter tastes like the best thing I've ever eaten. You know, I'll crave it, and then I'll eat it, and I'm like, yum. And then other times I'm like, So I know when my body needs it for sure.
Hi, girly. Hi, Ileana.
She can't hear you, but Miss Robin says hi.
I want to say butter in Colombia is way better than what I found in the US. So it makes it a little easier to go down. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a video about that, eating a stick of butter in a day.
Do you guys mind if I answer this question and then I have to hop off because I have that interview at 5:00? So everyone here knows what I'm going to say. What is my favorite go-to meal that I love to eat? On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Picanha.
I'm in the picanha pride for sure. Right, Ellie? I saw Ellie popped in. Ellie and I are members of picanha pride. And I make it all the time. And then it's the best, like what I'm teaching, because I even like it cold. So I'll eat it. I'll put the rest in the fridge. And then I'll make like picanha bites and take those to work with me and have that for lunch. So yeah, that's my go-to meal. I never get sick of it. It's delicious. But you guys, I have an interview at 5 o'clock. If any of you are interested, I will pop the link in my chat. I think you'll only be able to see it on my channel in the chat, but it's going to be a good one. So I hope to see you over there when this is over.
Can you drop it in the private chat so I can put it in?
Yeah. Let me put it in the private chat.
Work?
And then if you guys
Okay.
want to all,
Sweet.
that way everyone can get to it if they want to.
See you
Cool.
tomorrow.
Thanks so much.
Thanks,
See
Christy.
you later. Bye.
Bye.
You can afterwards, baby cakes. What's your favorite go-to meal? Love to eat.
Hamburger patties and beef jerky. I eat a lot of beef jerky that I make myself.
Ditto. That's my
Soft-boiled
favorite.
eggs. Soft-boiled eggs because it's fast in the Instapot. And then I can think about cooking something else while that's going in the Instapot.
Yeah. So I think my favorite, if I have to say my favorite, it's probably cheese, eggs, and bacon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man. When I was growing up, we used to eat grits with cheese, American cheese. And for some reason, the cheese eggs with the American cheese taste exactly like those grits to me.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Takes me back to my childhood. And so I really love that. But right now I'm not eating cheese. The other thing that I really love is a ribeye. A lot of times I will just crave one. And there's nothing else that will satisfy that except for a ribeye. So but ribeyes are expensive. And so bacon and eggs is really good. Of course, Cami said hamburger patties. That's always a good go-to. But cheese eggs, honey. So good. Delicious.
Totally.
Yeah, I love jerky, and I am trying my darndest to get my hands on a picanha. We were actually at a Brazilian steakhouse a couple weeks ago, maybe now, a week and a half ago, and they had it there, and I actually asked the server, I'm like, I can't find this anywhere here in Texas. And he was like, oh, Sam's has it. And I'm like, I literally go to Sam's and look every single time and I never see it. And he said it was called top sirloin, but I look for that.
Sirloin.
And then he said something else.
Culotte
Like another
steak.
name. What is it?
Culotte steak.
Maybe that was it.
I'm going to Google
Maybe
this.
that's
while
what
you
I'm
guys are
not seeing.
talking.
I don't know. I never seem to be able to find it. And I'm like, dang it, because it's so good.
So what I went to do, I cannot find that here either, but I went to my local grocery store that has a butcher shop, and I asked them if they had sirloin cap and they could cut it for me. And they did cut it, and it was so expensive though. It was just crazy expensive. When I was in Florida, I saw it at Walmart. I was like, why can't I like freeze some of these and take them home with me? But I didn't do it. So I have to order them.
Apparently, it's also just called hump.
Oh.
Or rump. Hump or rump. I'm looking at people call things totally different things everywhere. Anywhere in Colombia, it's called, your cuts are called something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
That probably does.
I highly recommend ground what is it? Ground brisket and armpit. Everyone try ground armpit. Mixed up with some ground brisket. I know it sounds really funny. I don't know what it's really called, but that's that part of the cow in the front. Rump cow.
Trying to scan through for more questions here. Okay, I'm going to leave the link while I see it in the chat. Yeah, Christy's going to be interviewing somebody with pulmonary fibrosis. That's her favorite thing to do now is just go. and like sound bomb all of my footage. You're so funny. So we had, let's see. Did we cover oxalate dumping in the chat?
I don't think we did cover that.
Or I didn't see a whole lot on there. So yeah, anybody want to take this?
I don't have an answer.
So I looked it up when the person did it. So I'm just going to say what I'm seeing here. So oxalate dumping refers to the process by which the body eliminates excess oxalates, which are naturally occurring compounds found in many plant-based foods. This can occur when someone drastically reduces their intake of oxalate-rich foods, such as switching to a low oxalate diet or a carnivore diet after consuming high amounts of oxalates for extended period. So, the body releases these oxalates, and those come out in a variety of ways. I think like those kidney stones, gallstones, the little crystals in your eyes, and then lots of rashes. Huh?
I think tartar is a
tartar. Oh, well, no wonder my dentist appointment was so horrible today. I was oxalate dumping, and the lady was like, I'm like, this is terrible. She says, you need to come back every 4 months. So it's probably oxalates.
Mm-hmm.
It was very bad.
Yeah, mine's worse than I've ever had it in my life.
Oh wow.
So, and it can take a long time for that because it's all in your it's in your fat cells. It's all stored up in your fat cells. So, it can take a long time for that oxalate dumping to stop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in beans and nuts and a lot of the greens. And I've eaten lots and lots of beans.
And spinach is like really, really, really high oxalate.
And chocolate, dark chocolate, teas.
Coffee has some.
Coffee has barely.
Barely.
I mean, well, there in Sally Norton's book, she talks about how there's not a whole lot of. Sometimes there's not a lot of enough testing done to really know, but I think coffee is generally considered very, very low. But things like black tea or green tea, pepper. White tea, pepper, spinach. I mean, think about how many people do those 8 cups of spinach a day and blend it into smoothies. Like that is, and with dark chocolate and almonds are another one that's super high. Like we've been poisoning ourselves, and it seems, and it can come out in so many different ways. I mean, it can even cause anxiety or mood swings, or almost this sort of this shift in your mental health. It's Sally Norton's. I know she's the one that talks about it the most. Her book is very helpful. I actually tried that. I tried adding in some decaffeinated black tea because I can't tolerate any caffeine. Just to see if my skin magically got better, or if my because it can be very cyclical. And I was experiencing that where I thought I would just get these couple weeks where I'm my digestion just sucks and my skin's flaring up and I just feel like crap, and I thought maybe I was, but ingesting a high oxalate food like that, it didn't seem to do anything symptom wise. And so I tried that a couple times into my 7th and 8th month, and it didn't seem to make a difference. So I don't know if that's particularly what I was dealing with or not, but I know it seems to be very common.
Well, and I just listened to Sally's book, and it did kind of scare me that just going carnivore cold turkey and just stopping all of the oxalates can actually be kind of dangerous. And so that should be one of the mistakes that we should mention to avoid.
Yeah, that's true.
Is if you are on a high oxalate diet, if you're eating tons of almond flours, and rhubarb is super, super high. I love rhubarb. I was eating tons of rhubarb before. But if you're eating really high and you go suddenly nothing, you can get really, really ill. It can be really serious.
Interesting.
So it's better
absolutely.
to keep
Karen's asking about mood swings. Can it cause mood swings?
Yeah. I mean, if you're concerned about this at all, I would order her book. I got the audio book, but then there's a PDF that you can print out that's all of the tables and charts and things that are from the book. And so I went through and highlighted, like all the things that I've eaten. I know I've like potatoes, even white potatoes and things like that so it's like, okay, yeah, I definitely ate a lot of these foods over the vast majority of my life. So that would be one check mark, and then the symptom clusters, you can look through that and see like, oh, do I have a lot of these symptoms? Then you may, because it, with like a lot of other things, it may not be oxalate. The symptoms overlap with many other different things. And so it's like, how do you know for sure if that's what you're dealing with? You kind of have to look at, your diet history, and then your symptoms. And then you can try some of those interventions where it's like if you went zero oxalate, like I did too, like kind of overnight, then if you add some of these foods, like a quarter cup of sweet potato or a little bit of tea or a little bit of dark chocolate or something like that, and then your symptoms go away or they get better, that means that it's probably oxalate, because when you add some in, your body doesn't clear as hard. It's saying, oh, okay, we're ingesting them, and so it backs off from the clearing. So I think I still suspect that I was dealing with it to some degree because I've eaten so many of those foods in the past, but just kind of had to get through it.
Yes.
Oh, Bruce said you find it at the HEB. Okay. I have Central Market around here, so I'll have to check there, which is HEB. We don't have those in Dallas, like the same ones that you have in, I guess, Austin or maybe everywhere else except for here.
Where do we have like sweet? I don't know. There was like an HEB, but that was like 10 years ago.
A rump cap. Okay.
They have to leave the cap on though, because like a lot of times you'll go in the store, they'll have those rump and top sirloins, but they've cut the whole cap off. So you gotta get them to cut it for you and leave the cap on, because that cap is delicious.
Yes,
it's all about the cap.
It's all about the
fat. So I realized today that I've been failing at my communication of carnivore on Facebook, because I did some posts about kids not needing psych meds and like look at what they're eating and getting outside and getting sun and playing. And then someone sent me a private message like, do you guys eat a lot of fat? And I'm like, oh, I failed. I failed. You guys eat good fats? Oh no, we just eat dried chicken breast. That's all.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that. But
it's that's something that I was thinking about too, because sometimes you just like when we're in this space so much, you just kind of assume like people know what it is and like what that we eat. Yes, we focus on fat. It's almost more like fativore than meativore in many many cases, unless you're like maybe like Dr. Baker or something. But but it really is like the basic things are still so like there's still so much like fat phobia about eating it and all this stuff in the general population. So yes, we just gotta keep
last night
repeating it.
It's true.
They were saying something about bacon, like they're like, because we just had a church program for our kids. It's called Summer Enrichment. It's like a summer to address summer slide, and they feed the kids all these meals every day, and they're like, they were feeding them really good healthy meals, fruits and fruit juice and all of these things, and but yeah, they did have bacon. And I'm like, bacon is good for you.
So much
stop demonizing the bacon.
Yes,
what the fruit juice did.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I'm gonna be like too much information, but my kids eat junk on the weekends. They do. We go out. They can eat what they want on the weekends. No fail. I feel like this happens almost every time. My daughter will eat something and then complain of like UTI symptoms. And I was talking to Darvid about this last night. And it's the sugar. So, but now I've trained her. She's educated, like, oh, maybe I should stop eating the junk and I should just eat the meat. She's 6. Meat and eggs.
Girl.
But yeah, I wish I knew this when I was young. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
We need to develop a teaching kids about carnivore
Oh yeah.
Something
there's
that we could like make a PDF and then you could share it with your kids. It'd be awesome.
Yes, exactly.
That's a good idea.
There's a girl named Lynn. Oh, Lynn. I don't know how to say her last name.
Lynn,
She just did
Devoki.
coloring. Dvorsky.
Devoki.
That sounds better than Dvorsky. She just made a coloring book to like promote the concept like bacon with like superhero bacon. I think it's on Amazon. I don't have the link. That's an awesome super chat. That's an awesome.
Thank you, stink ass cat.
I don't use that word, so I call him Stink Bum Cat.
Is it a him? Are you a him or a her?
It's a technical word for a donkey, right? We used to call them,
an ass.
So it's technically a real animal term.
Oh man.
We shouldn't get flagged for that.
No, we won't. But I've learned. Oh, him. Okay,
yeah, I
him.
think with the kid thing, aren't you doing something, Alia? I know, like, I was on a panel with Dr. Chafee, JT, Poke Moonshine Family set that one up a while back, and there were several of us on there just talking about kids' nutrition. And did you?
I don't know what August looks like yet, totally. So it's okay. You can probably hear my kids over there. I don't know what August looks like, but I'm trying to set up that panel to talk about kids' food. And I think that we just need to educate our kids really well. But we have to also let them have their own power of choice and their self-determinism. Like if we just force them, they're going to rebel. And then I want to say one more thing. When my daughter was born, I was like, I need to figure out this period situation before she hits puberty. And anyone knows my story knows I had horrific periods, like debilitating life. Oh, I don't know how to explain it. Just very, very crazy. Nia and I talked about this. My periods were horrible. So going into carnivore, I didn't realize that just eating meat and eggs and beef and bacon was the solution that I wish I had when I was 14 years old. And I experienced like the worst pain in my life for the first time in my life, not realizing it was just going to escalate. So there you go. We just need to teach them early because, the turkey, like little bits on your big salad. Who knows Pockets? There's this restaurant in Chicago called Pockets, and you buy a big salad and they just shove it in this huge piece of bread, and it's like $1 zillion for like 3 little pieces of turkey on it. So that was my favorite lunch growing up as a teenager, and you wonder why you're stuck in bed because you're eating like turkey breast, you're eating low-fat cheese, you're eating just stuff your body can't. You need those fats so you can build the hormones. Sorry, I'm on a roll. I just realized I had to say that. Like, I'm so happy that I figured out the solution. A problem I realized I had when my daughter was born that I need to resolve before she hit puberty. Anyways,
yeah,
this is the solution. It's don't blame the bacon for the sugar.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been talking to people, like almost everyone I've been talking to for my podcast now is like a parent of, either a mother or a father or grandparent or something. And so that topic usually comes up, and that's really the conclusion that I feel like most of us have come to. It's like we definitely don't want to create an eating disorder, right? By being afraid of food and all carbs are bad, right? Because we were taught, fat is bad, and now it's like so hard for some people to get over that.
Right.
And so, while we might be right, and I would argue that we are, that still doesn't create a good mental space for a kid to be in, right? To be like super afraid of things. And so, educating them and trying to this is where I will do more compromises and like try to recreate some things that are not necessarily like staples, like, making rice or macaroni and cheese or things like that on the regular, like a carnivore version of that necessarily, but like making special treats. Like we're doing a lot of popsicles over the summer, and I just use whole fruit and that's it, like fruit and full fat yogurt. And we make ice cream and we make treat, so like she feels like she's getting something special when other kids are, but it doesn't have to be like the ultra processed nasties, and so
totally,
at least, it's like trying to find that balance with kids. But that's really, I think that's the best way we can look at really educating, or helping anybody, is just saying like, hey, if we can get rid of all the processed junk, all the garbage food, minimum seed oils, processed grains, and added sugar, everybody's going to be in a way better situation, you know, and then if you need to heal further, you continue to go closer to carnivore. And so just that they have that in their mind, that it's an option, that their diet can affect their health, you know, or specific conditions. Like just knowing that is the key to me, because then, like you've been saying, they can choose to use that as a tool when they're older.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Can I pop up a photo really quick? These are 100% carnivore pancakes that I made. Oh, maybe I used a little stevia. You don't need to. And I got this recipe from Bella, but I couldn't find one of the ingredients. So I will show you. Look at this. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see? Did I share it? Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, good. Look, it looks like a real pancake. It tastes like a real pancake. Wow. I can't eat so many of them. I couldn't, like the next day I still felt like I was so full. So it's just gelatin and egg whites and then yolk and butter. It literally tastes, it's the exact texture of a pancake. You can watch your video. Wow. But if you can't find the gelatin, by the way, this is a perfect kids food. They ask for this all the time. And it's literally eggs and sugar-free, flavor-free gelatin and butter.
Nice.
Can you use beef gelatin for that?
I think so. I don't know. Whatever I buy at the store. Yeah, you can use beef gelatin.
And you can use beef gelatin, yes.
So she uses like beef gelatin or a gelatin with the whites, and you like make it so it's like meringue, I guess. Is that what it is? Like it's all fluffy. And then she used something else, collagen, beef collagen. I couldn't find that. So I just used gelatin and it was perfect. So there's also fun things you can do like that for your kids that actually work. And that's a total replacement. They had some honey on that and I ate it with a little stevia. Man, I was so full. I was like so full. Crazy. Anyways, there you go.
That sounds amazing.
It really was. But it takes so long to make. That's why I just like the software.
Oh yeah, I saw her video and she has like slow cooked those things.
Yeah, that's a problem with a lot of these recipes. They look so good and they probably are, but it's like if I had to make that like every other day or something, I wouldn't get anything else done. So
yeah, exactly. It does take a long time. It takes like 10 minutes to fluff up the egg whites, and then it's like if it's each egg is like 3 minutes, like it's one egg per pancake basically, and then that's like 3 minutes on each side. You gotta watch it, make sure it doesn't burn.
I'm gonna make it, but golly, that's a long time. I have to do it on a Saturday morning.
Well, I do the ones that are I think they're from Courtney Luna, the pancakes, and I think they look beautiful. They look just like pancakes, but it's an egg, pork rind crumbs, butter, melted butter, and I think that's it. Sometimes I'll add cinnamon or a little bit of cocoa powder to hers. You can make like a chocolate one or something. But they do taste a little pork rindy, you know, but they look beautiful. And I just slather them in more butter, and she likes them. So I make those, and they're pretty easy. I know we're past the hour, so I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I think we got through all the questions tonight.
I think so. Aid had a quick question about organ meats, and I will just answer. I eat chicken liver.
Oh, yes.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, I eat beef liver. I cook it. I started dicing it into little bitty pieces and then sauteing it. Don't cook it too long because it'll be tough. And then you'll be like, this don't taste good. But to me, beef liver tastes sweet. It's very, very, I enjoy it a lot.
That's great. I wish I would.
I cannot eat it. As a kid, my parents forced us to. Sat at the table for hours.
Oh no!
Yeah,
way too much.
I did that too.
I can't do it. I mean, I could grind it up. I keep buying it like I'm gonna do it, but I just keep not doing it. So you know what? Just stop. Just eat the meat that you have. It's
eat the meat you like.
It's fine. Yeah.
Eat the meat you like. If you want, try liverwurst, bratwurst. No, bratwurst, liverwurst, Braunschweiger. Oh man,
I like Braunschweiger, and a lot of times I found they have, the ones I've been able to find that has potato starch in it. So I've kind of stopped eating it, buying them because I'm like, but maybe there's a recipe. Maybe I could come up with a recipe.
There's for sure recipes on YouTube.
I was gonna say I've made liver chips in the dehydrator, like really thin slicing beef liver and just doing very light salt, and those are good. And even 10 little baby cakes. She ate one and she was like, now she hasn't eaten a ton since, but I think I gobbled them up mostly. And then she ate several times. I gave them to her with other things and she ate them. But the only problem is that when you make them and it's in the dehydrator, like the entire vicinity smells like liver, and it's like, it's a little much. Oh, there's your bag.
Okay, Nia, that's another carb nickname that you have for your daughter. Baby cakes.
Yeah. Were we saying that backstage or was that on here?
That was backstage.
I'm like, I only call my daughter like carb names like noodles and baby cakes.
Tater tot.
And what else do I call you?
So
Tater
cute.
tot, sweet potato.
So we need to like riff some like you could call her liver chips. That would work.
Little liver chip. Come here, little, or like snuggle muffin. I'll call her snuggle muffin. It's like, gosh,
liver
everything
chip.
I'm saying is like a trigger.
You can call her a little meat cookie. Hey, little meat cookie.
Meat cookie.
Hot dog. Call her hot dog.
little cheeseburger.
A rump steak, snuggle rump.
Oh, it's a bad.
Oh my god, hilarious.
Okay, well, I'm being
Hi, baby
infiltrated
Craig.
by the nighttime
Giggles.
animals here. Anybody have final thoughts before we sign off? Thanks everybody for being in the chat. Y'all are awesome.
Yeah.
You can when we sign off.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. It's been a great conversation. I love this topic, because just keep it simple. If you're just getting started, keep it simple.
Slow down, calm down. Just take it one meal at a time. Relax.
Yeah.
You'll be okay.
Exactly. I want to say, like, think about like your favorite thing in the world. Think, what is your favorite possession that you own? Like your computer, your car, your dog, whatever. Think of that. How much care do you put into that? Now, take a step back and realize your body is your possession also, and we don't take care of it. We just keep putting sludge in it. Start taking care of this possession, and it's going to work like your car that you love for a long time. But if we keep dumping the wrong fuels into it, this beautiful possession is going to break down. And when you're trying to play, remember the game called Life when we were a kid, the board game called Life? We're all trying to play that board game called Life. You're going to have a very hard time. So take care of your board game member, your player, the body, and you're going to live a happier life. There you go. That's my final words.
She locked it.
Love it. I would say, we're talking about mistakes or maybe regrets from things that we did. I think thinking about that stuff is helpful, but you know what? You started.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just started, and you just did what you had to do, and you just kept moving forward, no matter if you hit a roadblock, if you had some Thanksgiving like I did at Christmas, and it's like you just keep getting back on the wagon, keep recommitting to yourself. And yes, with that confidence, knowing like, hey, I deserve good quality health, and I deserve to put the effort, putting that effort in is okay. We've got her climbing on top of furniture to get my attention now. I was going to go on a nice little end note there, but you're worth it. Okay. All of you, you're worth it. And so don't feel bad about taking time for yourself, getting some sun, doing your grounding, join in on my fitness classes, find somebody you like to work out with, go for walks, whatever it is. Because when you're healthy, that ripples out into everybody else in your life, and it does make a difference. So that's what we're up with today. Okay. I got to go. Bye everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.